So today we are doing a style that is like cousins with Soleá, which we did last week, and that's the Caña. So the Caña has a very distinct section of cante that when we get to it, once you hear it, you'll always know when it's a Caña, when you hear the music. But otherwise, the measure, the compás, the rhythm is very similar to Soleá, very similar ambiance and feel and interpretation in how we use our bodies as well. So, with that, we'll go ahead and get started and warm up a little bit and then dive into the Caña. You can start with your feet close together and lengthen up through your legs. Find a slight lift. Take a nice long breath in. Reach your fingertips up and exhale. And again, a nice long breath in and exhale. Take your chin to your chest. Roll all the way over, long in the back of your neck. Let your head hang. Bend your knees, hug your shins, and straighten your legs. One more time, bend your knees again, hug your shins, straighten your legs, and with a little bend in your knees, roll up slowly, deepening through your belly, through your ribs, through your chest, all the way up. Take a few shoulder circles up here. Up, around, back, and down, and reverse the direction forwards. Sit. And take a big step out to the side. Reach up, stretch up and out of the hips. And other side. Try and keep the higher shoulder stacked directly on top of the lower shoulder. One more time each side. Up and over. And last time, lengthen out of the hips. Take your hands to the pelvis and circle the hips. And reverse the direction. And bring your feet together. Take your right foot in front of you and circle the right ankle. Encourage a smoothness and the quality of the motion. And you can just give that leg a gentle shake. And switch to the left foot, circle the ankle. Keep lengthening up, grow tall through your sides. And reverse the direction. And gently shake that leg out. And take your legs to hip width apart and gently spiral the back. Sit. And let that momentum come to a close. And feel your head suspended and light at the top of your spine. And imagine there were a string attached to the center of your head. And someone lengthen that string up and over to the side. And then up and over to the other side. So lengthening the neck, not collapsing into the side of the neck. Pulling up and over. One more time, up and over. Take your head to center. Take your hand to the back of your head. And press gently the head into the hands and the hand into the head. And as you press gently, you can sweep the hands up the neck. Encourage length in the back of the neck. Sit. And then one big sweep all the way up. Keeping that length in your neck. Turn to look over your left shoulder and over the right. Back and forth. A nice smooth motion. Sit. One side and then the other. And now a full circle with the head. And the direction. Sit. And take your head to center. We're going to take our legs to a wide position. And I'm going to bend both knees in my centered position. Then I'm going to shift, pivot. For now, keep both knees bent and then come back to center. So I'm pivoting on the balls of my feet. Go to the other side. And center, other side, center. So my shoulders stay forward and the hips are all that's pivoting. Twisting one side and then the other. And now, whichever is the back leg, lengthen that leg. So I have one straight leg and one bent knee. Come center and other side. So my upper body should be staying right where it is in space. My shoulders stay square to the front, and it's my hips, my knees, my feet that are moving. Try to keep the pelvis level, one side and then the other. So oftentimes in flamenco, we have this separation of our torso from our legs. Our legs and our hips facing one direction, our shoulders and our chest facing a different direction. And you can let that go. Bring your feet together, press into one foot, spread your toes wide in your shoes, catching your weight, warming up the connection to the floor, pressing into the floor and pushing off. And switch to the other foot, press and spring off. Sit. Keep the chest lifting upwards, up on a diagonal, broad across your shoulders. And now switching feet each time, one foot, then the other. Spring off the floor, push into the floor, spring off, push into the floor, spring off, push. One more time, each foot. And bring your feet together, lengthen your arms overhead, and really make sure your elbows aren't drifting forward, but keep that rotation at the shoulders. Draw the elbows backwards and carve the right arm down the side. Keep length through your center and in and up. And down the other side. Lift the elbow in and up. Feel your back broad. You can follow your arm looking over the shoulder of the arm that's circling in and up. Elbow leads. Carve through the space. Elbow up. Down the side. Up the center. Keep length in your legs. Be long through your side ribs. Down the side. Up the center. Reverse. Down the center. Elbow stays lifted. And up the side. Down the center. And up the side. Be as clear as you can with the lines of the arms. So elbow is lifted. Elbow is lifted as I come up the side. Down the center. Up the side. Keep your chin lifted as well. Let the shoulders settle downwards towards the floor. And take both hands above you. Press through your arms. Elbows are a little bit bent. And you can roll out your shoulders just a little bit. Reach wide through your fingertips. Up. Elbows stay lifted over to your right hip. Lengthen up. And over. And reach wide. And over. And up. Lift your chin. And to the hip. Lengthen and lift. And over. Lengthen. Over. One more time. Each side. Up and over. And last one. Up and over. I'm going to take one foot in front of me, and I'm going to use the same arm as leg. We're going to work a little bit on spreading the ribs. So really feeling this length up through the side, which doesn't mean I'm just collapsing into this opposite side. I keep length in both sides. So same arm as leg. I'm going to reach up, and my top arm is a little bit bent. So there's a little bit of this feeling of an arc here. And then elbow's going to drop. For once, you can drop your elbow and take it down the center. And lift through the ribs and and descend, and lift, and descend, and lift, expand, and fold in. Expand, lift your chin, and fold in. Expand, and fold in. Expand, and fold in. Really spread the ribs on the arm lifted side. Up, elbow lowers, up. Don't forget to really press into the floor with your foot. Press, and in, and press, and in. 2 more times. Up, and in, and up, and in. And take your right wrist in your left hand. Just going to stretch those upper ribs a little bit. Reach up and over. You can gently pull on that wrist to really feel a stretch in the upper ribs. Lengthen up. Switch the wrist you have clasped up and over to the other side. Come center and expand your chest up to the ceiling. And you can roll out your shoulders a couple of times. We're going to do one more posturing exercise. So I'm going to take my hips, let me do this way, taking my hips to face the left corner, left leg bends, I reach my right leg out, step across, out, step across, out, step across, out, step across. If you have to reset every few times, if you're in a smaller space, that's fine. And we're going to work on this expansion of the ribs and elbow up and across with that lower body. So I have uno y dos, y uno y dos, y uno y dos, y uno y dos, y uno y dos, uno y dos, uno y dos, uno y dos, y uno y dos, and hold. We'll do this one more time. So see if you can really find a sense of expanding. So for me, a lot of the movements in flamenco really are like the breath. There's an expansion, just like we inhale, and sort of a folding in, just like on our exhale. So see if you can find that happening really from your center. So not my arm pulls me up, but from my center, I spread and expand upward, and then I fold in. Spread and expand upward, and fold in. Let's keep going. And up and across. And uno y dos. Pull the elbow back and across. And expand and across. And uno y dos. Y uno y dos. Y uno y dos. Uno y dos. Uno y dos. Uno y dos. A couple more. Uno y dos. Spread the ribs. Y dos. Spread the ribs across. Uno y dos. Uno y dos. Uno y dos. And hold. That's it. We're going to do a couple more things before we head to the dance. So in the Caña, we're going to use some movements where I'm really lifting my knees. And where that comes from is if we had, we're all ladies in here, so if we all had a skirt on with big ruffles, we can really make those ruffles dance. And the Caña was very popular, I would say, like in the 60s, 50s and 60s, when the flamenco costumes were very, very heavy. So it took a lot of effort to lift the ruffles, but when you did, it really created a beautiful movement. So we're just going to practice some of those walks. So we'll just warm up our legs a little bit. You can just gently hold one leg up towards your torso. So I'm grabbing just below the knee, and then release, and other side. See if you can keep length through the straight leg. And one more time. Pull that knee in. Keep your chest broad. And other side. All right. So we're going to use our arms with our elbows leading, coming up. You can walk walk in any pathway you want in your space, straight lines, a circle. But we're just gonna step, 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 step. It almost looks like we're marching. You don't have to point your toes, because if you had a skirt on, no one would see your toes. So it's more about the knee than the foot. So I'll go ahead and count. We'll go 12, 1, 2, 3. So stepping on every beat. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep going. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And hold. Relax for a second. And shake your legs out. One more time. Same thing. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your chest lifted. 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. One more 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. That's it. So you can just imagine doing that with these very heavy ruffles that have been starched and are very sturdy, I guess you could say. So the other elements that we're going to use that we haven't focused a lot on in the Caña is turns. I have a couple turns in here. So before we get to turns, we're just going to do some half turns. So I'm going to start in this position with those ribs spread. Uno, so I'm taking, if you're mirroring me, it will be your left leg, left arm, facing directly to your left side. And then I'm going to switch, there's that pivot with the legs, and come to the other foot. And uno, y dos. Y. 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 Uno, y dos. So really be as clear with your lines as you can. I'll do this facing this way. So starting with the right side, spread the ribs. The left leg is long, right leg is bent. Lift your chin. Uno, y dos. Y. Uno, y dos. Y. Uno, dos. Y. Uno, dos. Y. Uno, dos. Try with a long arm. Uno, dos. Y. Reach, reach, and uno, dos. Y. Uno, dos. That's it. Any questions on that pivot? I know directions can be very weird on Zoom. So it's very much side to side. We're going to look at another pivot that turns us all the way around. So this I think we have done in a couple of dances. But turning over one leg, so one leg is essentially my axis, and my other foot, which is out to the diagonal, sort of paddles me. Imagine I have a paddle, paddles me around. So we'll start facing, I'll face this way so you can follow. We start with our left leg, and really find this idea of the center axis, all the way up your leg, through your center, lengthening up. We'll go ahead and take that arm nice and long to help us find that. So I have planta, pivot. Uno, y dos. Uno, y dos. Uno, y dos. I pivot on the ball of my foot, so I lift my heel. Y dos. Uno, y dos. Uno, y dos. Uno, y dos. And hold. Try the other side. So right foot will be the paddle, left foot is your center axis. Here we go. Left arm long. Feel that length all the way up your leg, up your side, up, up, up. And uno, y dos. 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 And hold. That's it. And I'm looking essentially just past that arm, whichever arm happens to be up. So we're gonna do a similar turn now, but I'm gonna keep my legs together. So rather than paddling, I'm gonna lift whichever heel end, or the heel of the axis side, my central axis. But I'm gonna keep this other leg long and off the floor. So you can just try that sort of back and forth. Pick up the foot and pivot, pick up the foot and pivot. So this other leg is just long, maybe an inch off the floor. So now we're gonna do a full circle with that. So I pivot, 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 arms come up gradually, pivot, pivot, all the way around. Really prolong that inner leg. Let that go. We'll do the second side. So I'm turning on my right ball of the foot, and I pivot. Arms come up gradually. So I'm using my hips to help get me around. Keeping that length helps to get me around. And hold. Try this on the other side again. Around the left foot. Ready, and uno, y dos, y uno, y dos, uno, dos, uno, dos, uno, dos. Other side. Uno, y dos, uno, y dos, uno, y dos, uno, y dos, and hold. And I didn't say this, but hopefully you caught it. I am putting my foot down in between each pivot. So I'm not just staying up the whole time. I pivot and I place the foot. Uno y dos. Uno y dos. So there's two parts to that. Questions on that turn? So these are a couple ways to turn in flamenco that aren't super sharp, like a lot of our other turns in flamenco. I'm going to very quickly do a sharper turn. So we're going to do an inward turn. So I'm going to step with my right foot and then close together with my left foot. That's all the feet are on this turn. So I step right and left. And I am lifting that knee on that step. So right and left. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. So my preparation, I want to have a little bend in this right leg. Uno y dos. So my arms, let me break this down. My right arm is forward. I'm going to bring my left arm around. So right arm is forward. Bring the left arm around. And then I switch back to the right arm at the end. So without the turn, I have other way. Uno y dos. Again, this way, and uno y dos. Do it facing this way. So same arm as leg is out. I push off the back foot, same arm as leg, and then I finish with the right arm out. So left foot pushes off, left arm comes around, and right arm finishes. Again, so left foot pushes off, left arm comes around, and the right arm finishes. With the turn, I push off and close. So I have step, step. Let's try that. So right foot steps, left foot steps. Again, right and left. Again, and right and left. I'm just facing you. So we step right and left. Again, step right and left. If the turn is a bit much for you, or if you're on carpet or something like that and it's hard to do, you can just step and step. And if you really lift that knee and give it an emphasis, you're really not missing that much from the turn musically. So I have step and step. Again, step right, left side comes around, right arm finishes. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. 1, uno, y dos. So this is a turn we want to make nice and sharp. We're going to use this turn in our llamada, in our call. So there's another element of the turn that we have to make sure we're using. Number 1, so we don't get dizzy. But number 2, will add to this idea of sharpness of a flamenco turn. So that's my head spot. So I always want my head to be the last thing to leave the front, whatever I'm looking at, you all on my computer, and the first thing to come back to the front. So to work on that, we're going to take 4 steps around in a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to change my head between steps 2 and steps 3. So it will be like this. We step 1, 2, head, 3, 4. So let's try that all together. Ready, and 1, 2, head, 3, 4. 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 So with this turn, with the head spot, I have step right, I leave my head looking towards that corner, and then I bring it around as quickly as I can. So let's try that with the turn, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. Take a breather for a second. Do it a couple more times. I'll face you. Ready, and uno y dos. Again, step right, left, finish. Again, and uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. So one way to start working on making your turns faster is waiting till the last minute to initiate the turn. So I can hold uno y dos and try and sort of condense the amount of time I'm using to do the turn. So let's try that a couple of times. Really be clear on your center axis. That way that can help you be stable and spin like a top. Really keeping that vertical axis. Arms. So the arms are, I start same arm as leg. I'm in this bent position. I bring the left arm around to that same position, and then as direct a route as possible, come back to the first position. So I'm here, arm around, and then more through the middle at the end I switch, because I want to finish that as quickly as possible, and I don't have time for this roundabout route. So I have one arm, take the arm around, and then finish nice and quick and sharp. Let's try that without the turn. So uno y dos. And uno y dos. So it's that dos at the end that's very sharp. Again, uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. That's it. With the turn if you want to add the turn. And uno y dos. Again, and uno y dos. One more time, and uno y dos. That's it. So let's go ahead. We'll add this to our desplante. So I can't remember if this was our first desplante or the second one. Our first desplante. So let me do this facing back. We learned last week our sort of base desplante in any of our styles in 12 are 1, 2, 3. I turn 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's really those 3 golpes, 1, 2, 3, that really signal to the musician, this is a desplante. This is a call for the verse. And then the 9, 10 signals I'm done with my call. And usually in the middle we have some kind of a turn. So we're going to do a little variation on this, a little more complicated than just the 3 golpes. So the golpe being the whole foot, we have in, out, ready, and in, out. Again, and 1, 2, Right golpe, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From here, there's a little pivot to face that corner. So I'm facing my hips to the left for the opening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to prepare here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right at the end of that 6, I pivot. I'm going to step 7, 8 as my turn that we just practiced. If you don't want to do the turn, 7, 8. Just bring that left foot in. So just up to there. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then golpes on 9, 10, right, left, 9, 10. Just that much. Ready? Starting with our right foot, hips face the left corner. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My 9, 10 is going to be directly forward. So I have hips to the left corner, hips to the right turn, and then close directly forward. So I'll do that facing you once, and I'll go ahead and add the arms. So for my in, out, do it this way, in, out. So I have 1, 2, 3. So everything sort of facing this left side. 1, 2. On the out, I take towards the right. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I pivot right away. Just that much with arms. Ready, and in, out, hold, in, out. Then I'm ready to turn, step together. If you're turning, you can do the turn. And then directly forward, golpe, golpe. I'm going to take the hands to the hips here. That's it. We'll hold esplante. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. I'll do it facing the opposite way. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, same thing. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Questions about the desplante? All right, so we have a little bit we have to fill in before the desplante. I will play the music for this part for you. So I mentioned at the beginning there's a sound to the caña that makes it very, very unique. So the opening of every verse, or in between every verse, are these ayeos, these eyes that are sung. So let me play this for you. Where did it go? There it is. So this is the end of the entrance of the singing of the guitar. Here comes these eyes. Several times, and I'll play it once we learn the choreography. I'll play it through the computer so you can hear it a little more clear. And a lot of people say that this reminds them of either cantors, Jewish cantors, or some people Muslim call to prayer and things like that. I'm not an ethnomusicologist, but I think there is definitely a lot of connection and similarities there. So we'll learn some dance steps to go with this. So We will step to our right first. So this would be, we would have walked onto stage, and right before this you heard some loud guitar playing. That would have been sort of our first Yamada. We're kind of skipping that material to go to the first verse. So we'd already be on stage. We would have already called in these eyes. So I'm going to start with my right foot, and I'm going to face directly to my right and reach my right arm up on the first eye. So we have the, then I'm going to step left forward to that side. So always facing, for now, your right side. We have the first eye. Now, this is the tricky part. I'm going to turn all the way around to keep facing this right side on my left leg. So it feels in some ways like a pivot, but I want to take that right leg all the way around to the side. So we have from the top. I start with my hips forward, I turn to the right. One more step with that left foot. So, again, starting with the right foot, face your right. 1 and 2. Turn all the way around to where you're looking. Right leg is forward. Left leg. And then pivot, right side is forward. So, that much again. We have let's come and face the front. So I'll sing it one more time for you. We'll start with our hips to the front and we'll end with our hips to the front. So we have so that ba-rum-ba-bum, the guitar plays. Same thing to the left, where you came from. So I have left, right. I'm going to turn all the way around over my left shoulder to the left, so counterclockwise. Bring that left foot forward. Step again on the right. And now just pivot, half turn, so you're facing the first side, and then finish forwards. Just that much. Let's do just the left side one more time. So we finish over here towards your right. You're going to step and look to your left. And half turn, bum. Let's try right and left together. I'll just sing it. So start towards the left side of your space. Ready, and left. Full turn. Half turn. From here, you already know how to do the next thing. We're going to turn this little pivot turn around to our left. And arms will come up slowly through the center. So we finish neutral. I have we'll step forward again. Same thing to the right. So I'm turning over my right leg. Arms come up slowly through the center. From there, make sure I didn't forget anything. Launch. Okay, let's do it. The traveling side to side and the 2 turns in place. So the whole thing up to here. Start to your left-ish. Ready, and full turn. Half turn. Face your front. Left. Step right, full turn. Half turn. Step together. Around yourself. E, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. To the right. E, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. I'm going to add the next part. This is our last E section. I'm going to step out to my left. E, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. So you have a little bit of freedom here. So I'm not moving my legs this time. I just have this big lunge to the side. So it's my arms and my wrist circles that can capture the E. So let me just do this facing this way. So E, ba-dum, bum, bum. Then we're just gonna back to the first side, ba-dum, bum, bum. Step out of it. You'll hear the singer kind of trails off. And then we're ready to go into our desplante that we just learned with the turn. So our last E is the lunge. E, ba-dum, bum, bum. Step out of it. 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is then the call for the verse. So let's go ahead because I think the music will help you understand much of the logic in this particular step. So we'll go ahead and try it with the music. I can get it queued up. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Starting to the right. So the llamada speeds up. I forgot about that. It speeds up a little bit. So let's try just the llamada a hair faster. Remember, you can always leave the turn out. So just the llamada.
Cuando yo canto la caña.
All right, so next little bit, we'll go ahead and go on. Are there any questions on that opening, on the eyes? Maybe. Is someone typing? Just the timing. So I've tried to time each gesture. If we were to count it, it wouldn't give you the freedom to follow the singer exactly, because any singer singing Caña might have a little variation in where they enter with each eye and how they trail off. So this is one where it's really, and you notice too in the desplante, suddenly we're in a different time signature. So the E's are kind of in their own world. Some singers will do them very fast. So it's really in this moment up to the dancer to really follow the singer's timing more than anything. So just hone in on those E's. We'll do it in a moment. I'll share the computer sound through the computer so you can hear it a little more clearly. Another question. And into the transition at the end. So what feels comfortable for me on that lunge? I'm twisting basically against this left leg, and then I twist back. So I wind up, and then I twist back on the guitar close. So bum, bum, and then I just walk around my left shoulder, and get ready to jump into that desplante. I want to go on a little bit. So I'm going to add on a little bit, and then we'll run it with the music. So you heard the verse comes in. We just finished 9, 10. We're going to hold 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to transition on step 5. So I bring this left leg under me on 5. Here's those big knee walks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So left foot comes under me, 5. That right knee is already up. I step 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Towards your right hand, your front right hand corner. So we finished 9, 10. Stand tall and strong, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My arms, I stand here, 12. 1, 2, 3. I lift them just a little bit. Let's see, we're with our legs apart. Left foot comes in, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take my arms towards the right corner with your right arm a little bit higher. So one more time, we finished 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out. Da 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 ba 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 ba. So this we've done in, I think, both the alegrías and the soleá. So here we are, arms to the corner. I mark with my left foot. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Finishing with the arms low. So those 2 golpes are 6 and 7. Let's try that. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Step out. 8, 9, 10. Feet together. Again, from the big walks. We finish our desplante, our call for the singer, 9, 10. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mark 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to go on just a little bit more, and then we'll try it with music. So the next thing that happens, which is common in many flamenco styles, is the singer takes a breath, what's called a respiro. So in the respiro, we will respond. So we're going to use golpes here. I'm going to do 2 golpes to my right. I think it's 1 and I'm going to have to listen to the music for the timing. So bum bum ba ba bum bum. We're going to go ba 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 ba. So what was that? My right foot is going to do a golpe as my left foot swings out to the side. So I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm like sort of like a bell, swinging my weight from one side to the other. So we have double on the right, double on the left, and then I believe I said right foot in, ba, 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 ba. And I'm going to turn my hips towards the right corner at the end. So I think we start 12. I'll have to double check with the music. We have 12 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My arms, it's like I'm flicking water off my fingertips. 12 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, push to the corner. Let's try it this way, starting right foot, 12, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to bring that left arm across at the end. Let's try that one more time. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So once again, here you could imagine you have one of these big old school dresses on, and that would allow the ruffles to lift on each side there. So a different sort of dance of the ruffles and the up with the knees, and instead out to the sides. So let's try just the verse with music, and then we'll go back to the beginning. If I can cue it up, that's always a challenge.
Cuando yo canto la caña, ay,
Questions now that you've heard it with the music. We'll do it more times. Let's go back to the beginning with the E's, and we'll go up to here. And try and, I feel like Caña has a lot of energy, so when that verse comes in, not that all Flamenco doesn't have a lot of energy, but 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's really big. Really want to lift those knees, sort of this revving up for the beginning of the verse. So let's try the whole thing with the eyes, E's. Let me start it a hair further back. Here we go. To your right first. Step forward. To the left. Around yourself. Left, left. Step around yourself.
Cuando yo canto la caña, ay,
Let's try it. I'm going to share the computer sound with you so you'll hear it a little more clearly. Any questions while I get that share set up? No questions. All right. Well, I will go ahead and
ay, ay, ay.
a little further forward. Here we go. That's it. Any questions? We only have a couple minutes left. I will say, so I said listen to the singing. Well, I think what I'm really honing in on more for those eyes is the guitar. So really listening to the strums of the guitar on the eyes, which is somewhat determined by the singer. And then closing, it does close on 9-10. Like all of our phrases in these 12 count rhythms in flamenco, we almost always close 9-10. So we go with the strums of the guitar and then close. And in most of the movements, especially these turns in a circle, I really want to lengthen from my belly button up through my center. And I'm adding some little details. When you face back, I know you can't see them, but when I finish, I tend to lift my head at the end on the 10. So I go around in circle, 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, bum, bum. So there's this very clear finish on the 10 of each of the eyes, even the ones facing side. Bum, bum, that one's the more from the side forward. So my head can really accentuate the end of each phrase in that way as well. I will do it facing you. I will do my best to mirror it, but I might end up on the wrong foot. So don't follow my feet too closely. Follow the energy, and we'll try it again. Same thing, sharing the sound through this. So here we go.
Cuando yo canto la caña, ay, la caña.
Any questions now that we've done it a couple times? Let's do it just one more time, and I will also say, so I'll send you this music. We could spend even forever looking for, not forever, but a lot of time looking for how exactly do I want to catch those chords on the guitar, especially closing each eye. So that's something you can sort of have fun with on your own, especially the lunge. Do you want it to be about your wrist and your back, just your back? So you have a lot of freedom in that, but the goal is to capture what the guitarist especially is doing underneath the eyes. So your head, your wrists, the twisting of your back, how you want to use those and play with those to capture the music. So we'll do it one more time. And just imagine you have that 20-pound dress on. So anytime you lift your legs, you really got to lift them and send those ruffles up. Here we go. pretty good from what I could see. Any last minute questions? So you can also, if you want to play more with Caña, a lot of our alegrías and our soleá marking steps work in Caña, but it's a matter of sort of changing the details of it so it really captures the Caña voice that's so unique. So even though the rhythm's the same, so therefore we can sort of use anything in 12s with Caña, the quality of the voice has a very different contour to it. So you want to make sure if you're sort of transposing any 12 count marking step that it really captures the Caña sense. And I will also send, I have a video pulled up of Merche Esmeralda, I think, doing Caña, and she's got this big heavy dress on, so you can get an idea of what that looks like. And I'll see if I can find some other old school ones. And I'll say too, I learned the Caña from someone of that generation, and I danced it in her costume, which was one of these big heavy dresses, which is why I think for me, because I didn't learn the Caña sort of in more of its modern interpretations, I learned it in this heavy dress, that for me it has to have that feeling whether or not I have the big heavy dress on. But I still use these steps that I learned it with in that dress. So that's a very, I guess, personal thing, but it comes from sort of the history of Caña and when it really developed as a form, which was in the middle of the 20th century when those big heavy dresses were very popular. So that's a little bit about Caña. Let's see. All right. Well, I will see some of you very soon, and others I will see not as soon, but also soon. So take care and see you next time.